This is a tragic tale. The story about, a ship that met its tragic fate at the tip of an iceberg way long ago, almost a century, if not more. A tale that, when talked about, needed to be told in the most tactful way possible. A tale that commemorates, its anniversary this year. A tale as old as time, in a sense. A tale that managed to make the most money even out of, its release. I'm of course talking about Titanic. The legend goes on. Unfortunately, audience, if you couldn't catch from the date, this is kind of how we do things around April 1st. So you're gonna get a bad animated Titanic movie.
But that's not how the song lyrics go.
That's what the Shitty Flute version actually covers for sure. But unfortunately, while we did in the past the version of Mondo TV, and we have planned to redo it at some point because it's old as fuck, today we're filling in the gaps with the more famous Titanic animated adaptation done by Camillo Tetti. What can you tell us about that, Jova?
So, believe it or not, this is a project that's kind of been a long time coming. Those who've been with us since our fairly earlier days may remember how we did stuff a bit differently back then. As in, sometimes our movie commentaries would literally be fragments that we glued together in the editing process, essentially. One of those projects that never saw the light of day, actually, was a commentary on Titanic, the animated movie, The Legend Goes On, or Titanic, The Legend Goes On, or Titanic, the animated musical, and yeah, you got the gist, this movie has a ton of titles for some reason. So, when we originally tried to do this back in 2014, we were doing it with the method of, well, watching the movies in parts. And again, the idea was to edit, cut, and glue together our commentaries into a full-length audio commentary. Thankfully, nowadays, these movies are so easy to find on YouTube. Well, except for the uncut version, which was actually the version we originally did. Oh yeah, there are 2 cuts of this movie, but I'll get to that a bit later. First off, let's talk about the facts behind this movie. Now, you may be thinking that this was the first in a way too long line of terrible animated movies of the Titanic. And you would sadly be wrong. This is actually the second one. Now, mind you, whenever people do marathons or, consider these movies, we often like to consider this one came first because it has worse animation than the one that came out a year before it. That said,
it was also the first that was majorly brought up from an American audience.
That's the thing. Apparently, the 1999 film actually got a theatrical release. This one, I have not seen any hints that it got a theatrical release.
It was direct to DVD in Canada, and that's how it got in the States.
Oof. Like, okay, let me put it like this. So you can tell that apparently less work went into this than the one that went into the version last year. That being said, if you've been following animated Titanic films, you'll probably know that despite the fact that this looks uglier, and in some cases is edited much worse, this is actually the best animated Titanic movie we got.
That's the sad part.
Yes. Now, as Theo mentioned, we're going to have a marathon where we look at the Mondo TD animated Titanic franchise. Yes, there's enough material for that to have its own franchise. Let that sink in. But this movie is actually the closer one to being historically accurate than that movie. So, in a way, consider this the way to start off. Granted, we may be looking at the uncut version when we do the marathon later on. And now it's time for me to explain what I mean about the 2 cuts here.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, every now and then, films will get varying cuts, Maybe they'll add in some stuff, add some context, maybe an alternate ending or 2. But very rarely do we get a cut that can not only change the very plot of the movie itself, the arrangement of the plot itself, But how about one that adds in lines that clearly weren't meant to be there, adds in songs, mind you, and makes the story from being a proper story to being a story that's told in medias res? Yeah.
For some reason, the Canadian distributors thought it was a brilliant idea to, as me and some others online discussed, apply the same thought process that happened to Ghost Stories and recouple the product into essentially an abridged version of itself.
Not only that, this is kind of comparable to the Miramax cut of The Thief and the Cobbler, essentially.
That too.
They added in songs, replaced some songs with other ones, and in turn, changed up the story, and they blatantly added in voice acting where characters clearly aren't talking, just like The Thief and the Cobbler. And yet, that being said, this is arguably the more entertaining cut. For those of you who have stuck with the Nostalgia Critic for quite a while, this is the version he reviewed. Now, for people who looked for this movie in full back there and then, you may have been disappointed when you found a version of the movie on YouTube that did not have the ever-iconic Party Time song. That is because that was the original uncut version. That said, what we're looking at today, which, God bless us, is still on YouTube ever since April 21st, 2016, which, oddly enough, kind of is a bit of an anniversary towards the Titanic sinking itself.
The irony.
Yeah. This is the cut version. Now, it's technically shorter. In fact, it's like 58 minutes of movie with 12 minutes of credits for an overall 70-minute runtime. Make of that what you will. But it is far crazier. The cuts make the plot make way less sense. Lines are unnatural. Yes, the original uncut version did have stuff be natural, and yet it's kind of the only way to love that movie, because if you're looking at it uncut, it's just boring or insulting at best.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, in the cast, there are 3 notable actors for this. One of them is Gregory Snegov, someone who's been in a lot of animated movies, and he's been an actor since 1980 in The Last Hunter. He was also in Kiki's Delivery Service, My Neighbor Totoro, and yeah, he's kind of a Studio Ghibli regular. And yet he is in all 3 of the animated Titanic films. He's in this movie, and The Legend of Titanic, and Tentacolino! But that's not all. We've also got famed actor Mickey Knox in this movie. And, would you believe it that this was actually his final film role before he died?
I mean, he died in 2013, so it's not like he died immediately. Essentially, he retired after this.
Still, though, like...
Well, after this amazing masterpiece, he, of course, decided to retire on top. You know.
And this was kind of the same for the other person involved, Edmund Purdom.
Who is literally a Shakespearean-trained actor.
Because that's what we need in this movie.
Alright, I can discuss more on actually my part, you know, since, you know, actually from the place that actually birthed this fucking thing.
Well, one of the 2 countries that birthed it,
My
because
condolences.
this was an Italian... Oh, wait, never mind. This one was actually just all Italy. It's the other ones that are Italy and North Korea.
This was allegedly there was some help from a Spain sub-company, but it's very minimal. Okay, we can start before the logo of the Titanic cartoons production. Yes, really. Again, if you follow the link in the description, you should be basically caught up. If it gets, if the bots actually get to this version, we'll see what we can do. For the time being, just stick to that. So let's start in 3, 2, 1, click.
I don't know. Oh no, go ahead. Actually,
believe it or not, I actually saw this before seeing Doug's review. I don't think this ever got a theatrical release in my country, but it aired on TV quite a lot in the early 2000s. And I actually was lucky enough to actually find also brilliant title screen. I was actually, I was actually lucky enough to find it on TV.
Jim
Obviously,
Magan.
it was based on the uncut version, which, like Jova said, it is boring and, and it just leaves the whole tastelessness of, making an animated movie based on the Titanic tragedy, Also, that frame rate.
And yes, this is not how the original movie started. No, the original movie just starts properly. But here, well, if you wanted any surprise about how a movie about the Titanic is supposed to go, sorry, spoilers right there and then.
I don't know if they also, aside from the songs, I don't know if they actually altered the existing musics or not. The music for the original is nothing too much to scoff about. It's composed by a guy called Detto Mariano. He's fine, and unfortunately he passed away during the pandemic. Poor bastard.
But guys, what's in God's name happened to the rapping dog?
To be fair, I mean, I'm pretty confident everybody goes into these movies knowing what happens to the Titanic.
Yeah.
Well,
I still, for the record, audience, I still have not found yet that supposed version with Napoleon in it. I know it exists. I know, and I'm so close to find out this Mandela effect.
So, Dwibs, were you about to raise a point?
Yeah, I was just saying, what happened? I guess this is in medias res because I just got one burning question that I hope the movie answers. What happened to the rapping dog?
Also, in case you're wondering, yes, some scenes are rotoscoping, literally lifted from the James Cameron version. It's kind of similar to the way Star Chaser: The Legend of the Orient leaves from Star Wars. Sorry, go on.
If I remember correctly, I don't think the rapping dog even is in the ship.
It is. There's just a different different music.
Okay. I do know that his fate is confirmed in the uncut version. I'm not sure about this version though.
No. Okay. I don't know. I don't forgot what happens in the version, but yes, they all the animals survive essentially.
I know it's probably because I imagine the budget for this was pretty low, but that one old woman on the boat looked like she was laughing at the whole thing.
Yeah, let's talk about the animation. Let's talk about the animation because there is one thing to mention. You might have noticed that some of these characters might look familiar, for lack of a better term. That's because... and also inconsistent with each other. The style of animation is all over the fucking place. That's because Camillo Tetti's studio, that he employed for this movie specifically, mind you, was composed by a bunch of different kind of animators that each had to work separately on their own and then collage together the final product, and they essentially were allowed to lift straight up from different kinds of animation. Disney, Warner Bros., you name it. Also, thanks for the seagull ash shot. And as a result, the movie is this collage of royalty-free copied characters from famous properties just stuck in a Titanic story.
It's the perfect crime. So
you know what's the funniest thing, Jova? Yeah. Just to let you know, by the way, the male lead, human lead in this movie, the equivalent of Leonardo DiCaprio's character, is also voiced in the Italian dub by the same voice actor that voiced Leonardo DiCaprio in the James Cameron movie. They knew what they were doing.
Wow. So this is literally the perfect crime. It's essentially a royalty-free scam disguised as a Titanic movie.
Mind the audience, it needs to be said this also as well. While this movie is known in my country, it's not much more than what the Americans know, thanks to popularity from reviewers like Doug. You'd think that being from our place, it would be much more known, but surprisingly enough, it kind of has faded from the public for a while after that, initial TV broadcast that I did mention. And, oh, Jesus Christ. And basically after that, finding copies with our dub is kind of even more rare than this.
So what, is it like a movie that Italy is ashamed of and is trying to bury?
Could be, but could also be essentially that we kind of forgot. You have to understand one thing, Jova. A lot of stuff that my country produces that manages to arrive in the rest of the world, it's not made with the intent of being popular here. in the first place. Because most of the Mondo TV stuff, outside of those bootleg, DVD chests that you find in some shops, it's not something that gets promoted at all. Also, this dub, my god. I know that we just mentioned that it employs famous voice actors, but just no.
That said, the only famous one who voices someone is Gregory Snegoff.
Mm-hmm.
The other two voice more so
like
side
cameos.
characters.
Yeah, one of the primary problems as well is that the voice editing is just terrible because the characters interrupt each other all the time.
Now,
What do you know? Canadian production giving a terrible dub.
Now, to be fair, this is apparently more a problem with this version we're looking at. I've seen the uncut version, and the voices are apparently mixed better there, and they don't have people constantly interrupting each other.
That's because this version instead is a collage of all the scenes just quickly edited, chopped up, and everything. It's so jarring.
I am really wondering why they made this second cut. It's not like they needed to edit it for a TV audience or something, so what the heck?
Again, I just wonder if they thought of the same effect of, Ghost Stories. The fact that they thought the original version would have been too boring for the audience, so let's just put, what we think is funny.
We just had the bird from The Secret and Nim.
Along with some racist caricatures.
Yes, we also have a Sherlock Holmes pastiche because why the fuck not?
Wow. I mean, Sherlock Holmes shouldn't he have been a bit old at this point?
I know that one of the best sports that's applied to the media industry is to make board games and video games that are basically murder mysteries that coincidentally happened on the Titanic journey, and that's probably the best way you can do to make an adaptation from that kind of story. But this is, and trust me if I say this, goes basically nowhere. Whoa, that movement.
Also, what's with all the animals?
Oh, basically, sure.
No need for the kid audience, Shirai.
Yeah. And among those animals...
That's the thing, Shirai. This is a kid's movie. We have to have cute animals in it.
I'm not even going to get into the shots that they obviously ripped off from the James Cameron movie either. Admittedly, Legend of Titanic does that a bit more blatantly.
Like I said, similar to Star Chaser, there are some scenes that are basically rotoscoped.
Yeah.
And who you might be.
Yeah, I just feel like scenes just kind of get interrupted.
And again, the animation art style is so inconsistent with each other. We have in this very scene, just like Anastasia, the granny from Sylvester and Tweety. Who the fuck are you? That officer from the Star Wars Holiday Special.
Wow, there you go. She's so evil. She actually breaks her own stuff so she can watch her clean.
Clean your room.
This is some Cinderella shit going on here.
No.
Imagine that, Shirai.
Shirai, excuse me. At least Lady Tremaine never actually broke her own shit just so that Cinderella could pick that. That's not evil. That's just being stupid.
Oh, how curious! A mouse with clothes! Oh well, typical.
Also, those soulless eyes.
Someone's certainly trying out to be a Disney princess. Friends with animals.
I should elaborate.
Oh, wait, we're about to get the scene.
Already, yep. Right, I forgot how early it is.
Don't worry, I'll be quick. The Gregory Snegoff thing we mentioned earlier about him being in a Ghibli movie, he was in My Neighbor Totoro as Tatsuso Kusakabe, but that was in the streamlined 80s version, not the Disney dub.
Oh boy, here we go. Brace yourself.
Oh, and in
What?
case you're wondering,
Titanic,
this is
everyone.
in case you're wondering, this is the character that Gregory Snegoff voices.
They made like an actor from like what? From when he was born. Oh, okay, it was from the 50s. Makes more sense to rap. And look, yes, the uncut version also has a rap on its own. It's not that much better than this, but this is still stupid.
This
And also,
animation is so off.
Also, just to let you know, in my country, the dog is actually voiced by a professional singer. It was relatively famous.
Hey, wait a minute, wait a minute.
during the 60s.
What's the dog doing back there? Wasn't he down in the deck just there?
That's because the scenes in the kitchen are actually supposed to be taking place later, but instead are spruced in between the rapping dog song.
Yep, I wasn't kidding when I said that this cut essentially creates a different plot, folks.
But yeah, the guy was called Bobby Solo, and he's actually a very good singer, still alive and everything. And for some reason, they hired him to voice act as the rapping dog in this fucking movie.
Why does
Also,
everybody suddenly look so shiny and goofy?
I
hate
know,
it.
right?
Ugh.
The animation is so inconsistent.
Also, not to
This
mention,
is so ugly. I'm sorry.
not only that, here's a bit of problem with the story plot here. That dog is the one. Hold on. That dog is the one called Fritz, who the mother mouse was talking about. Except they hadn't met him yet, so how did she know his name was Fritz?
Also, why is B. Arthur in this movie?
She went crazy.
Clearly. I love how that rapping scene just happens, and then it literally veers off into a different scene, and it's never acknowledged ever again. That scene was literally a big-lipped alligator moment.
Yep.
Okay, so Gregory Snegoff actually voices both Fritz and Jeffrey. Jeffrey is the evil Lucifer-like cat, and Fritz is the party-time dog.
But apparently the Chihuahua got drunk in the meantime during the
Someone's
kitchen
having
scene.
fun. Someone's having fun with the trombone.
I suppose the idea is that he's punch-drunk from getting hit by the bag, maybe?
No, if I recall correctly, he got drunk during the kitchen scene.
No. I mean, what we saw was him getting hit silly by the bag, so...
Okay.
Boy, I can't believe I'm gonna say this, but Horace and Jasper really let themselves go.
Oh, yeah, this dog, if I remember correctly, this is the dog that's voiced by Discount Sam Elliott.
Mm-hmm.
This editing, Jesus Christ.
This is a made for TV version. It's a really poor one.
Yeah, she's a
Jesus.
gold digger.
Damn, lady.
Well, that's the thing, guys. She is literally a gold digger.
Oh, you poor people. Like,
Oh. I love how that woman literally just brings up out of nowhere. I want my daughter, my lost daughter, had a good education since I haven't seen her in a while and everything. Again, the game that has no natural way of establishing that she has a lost daughter, so she just brings it up out of nowhere for no
And that
reason.
guy just teleported.
it's like a point and click game. You just went
Wait, what
Yeah,
the?
funny story. There actually is a Titanic point and click game.
Yeah, like I said, there is what it's arguably referred as the Titanic exploitation, where there are a lot of media based on it, and a video game that's usually like a mystery of some kind that happened during the same time is usually the more accepted kind of adaptation that has been done. Also, that's supposed to be a French accent, but that guy sounds like the host of Top Gear.
It's my incredibly stereotypical and cartoony French accent there.
Oh my god, that's the excuse of what happened to the Oh, Jesus Christ. That's what happened to the Titanic. It was piloted by Jeremy Clarkson.
No, James May, because when they hit the iceberg, he says, "Oh, cock."
Ooh.
Oh.
And next scene.
Is everybody in this? Oh,
Yes, Roy?
is everybody in this movie just an ass?
Yes.
Well, hold on.
Is this trying to make everyone on the Titanic the most unlikable people?
To be fair, Angelica and what's his name?
The granny from Tweety and Sylvester.
No. Also, what's his name? The blonde guy?
The
William.
DiCaprio equivalent.
William, yeah.
Because they're the most boring, Jova.
Alright, let me see if
Oh, wait,
be
the
nasty bad
scene.
results on these people. I don't even know what the fuck is going on.
Also, this lip syncing is just amazing.
And no, you're not having... Yeah, they were so cheap they put up a black screen just to justify a fight scene.
Like, really? They couldn't have just put an image of the room they were in and shake it about a bit?
You're not even trying to hide that she's an obvious Cruella de Vil knockoff.
Nope.
Even got the cigarette holder and everything.
It's
And
so
now-
hilarious that the only two characters who look remotely like actual human beings are clearly the more important one. Even then, she's clearly based on Anastasia.
I guess one thing to give this movie credit is that, at least unlike Legend of Titanic, these two take somewhat more time to truly fall in love.
Like unnecessary contact. What
Like, you're forward, dude.
What even brought him
Alright,
down?
Also, those lip fillers.
Wait,
mind you, we're barely a third in.
wait. They cut to a scene only to crossfade into a later scene.
Jesus Christ. Alright, I'll be... In the meantime, I'll try to see some news about the other minor voice actors, the one we didn't talk about, like our protagonist, allegedly.
That was literally a reused scene from when he was singing. You cheapskates.
Also, when I know how to chip it out on the background, make everything literally super dark for one shot.
Okay. You know, I'll say this. The only reason that this is better than Legend of Titanic is because that it's more historically accurate. Because otherwise, man, this feels like it has less of a plot than Legend of Titanic did.
In case you forgot, I will...
Historically accurate is a relative term.
Yeah, but like, I will tell
Compared
you
to Legend of Titanic, Dwibs.
At least this version doesn't have magical moonbeam tears that allow you to talk to animals.
And this
I was
version...
gonna say...
And also, this version doesn't have everyone survive.
Yeah, Shiri?
I was gonna say, when you mentioned, you know, this sort of thing should be handled with respect, it's like... a lot of people don't think the live-action movie did that either.
No, they didn't. See, the thing is, Shiri. Remember, the James Cameron movie completely lied about what the first mate did. Like, they had the first mate kill himself, even though that's not what actually happened. And the filmmakers actually had to apologize to his family later on because of. So yeah,
That was
basically
their bad, definitely. That said,
Hollywood and just like...
I wouldn't say that the James Cameron film as
Java.
a whole, though, screwed up things historically. Granted, that was a major thing, but other than that, I'd say it at least was doing its best to get it right. Again, except for that one bit. Like, I'm a guy who likes the James Cameron Titanic movie, but I do acknowledge its obvious flaws. There are flaws. But I do feel like it was very, very well made. Like, not many people would go out of their way to literally make an entire replica of Titanic, but the madman actually did. And mind you, this was after doing The Abyss, so... Heh, some would consider him a glutton for punishment doing another water-based movie. Wait, what? Wait, what? That cut! Did he suddenly just teleport from one room to his room over there in the chair?
Yes.
Yes.
Enable no clip.
This kind of makes the unfortunate side effect being, why don't they just teleport away from the Titanic or something?
Also,
I guess that's not how it works. Oh, that's mild.
Also, that's right, William. She can't escape from a ship, so you can find her and hunt her down eventually. Like, I get what she really meant, but that came off as a bit creepy.
Angelica is voiced by Lisa Russo, which didn't do much. This was in one of the 3 things she did as an actress. But interesting enough, she was a part of a performing for the song of "God Help the Outcast" from Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Wait. He said he'll look for her ball for her, but it's clearly there in view.
I wonder, for that one, did they hire an actual choir for that?
I actually
particular
forgot
song?
which specific song is that.
That's the one Esmeralda sings as she's walking through the chapel.
Could be that then, yeah.
Sped up footage there.
Our William instead is voiced by Mark Thompson Ashworth, and he's still doing stuff to this very day. He actually had a career after this, believe it or not.
Weird, he doesn't have a Wikipedia page, surprisingly.
IMDb actually fills in. Jesus, that accent.
You could say that quite frequently in this movie.
I think it was the scene in Ant-Man where he's like, you can say that again. Brilliant.
Yeah.
And yet 4 kids senses outline.
Why do you have to call it an encounter?
Oh, goody! Now we're gonna get the theme for this cut of the
Oscar Bay
movie.
Song. Okay, I will say this. Of course, compared to the Rapping Dog, obviously, this is actually feels much better, and it's harmless. I heard worse, so I'll give whatever credit this movie wants to have.
Also, girl, what's going on with your hair? Like, her hair's blowing, but his isn't. Like, is her hair alive?
Yes.
And his hair is short, but, like, it would still... Oh, it is blowing a little bit. So.
Again, the animation just does whatever the fuck it wants.
Like, but seriously, though, with the way her hair was blowing, his should have been blowing more. Cause
Yeah, no, I agree.
You don't have to scream. She's right. What?
Maybe it's
or
really
maybe
windy.
she jumped over the railing? Maybe she jumped over the railing or something? Wait, what? Oh, wait, who?
Okay.
So,
What's the random slowdown here?
where am I? I must have teleported someplace else.
The one time I probably needed alcohol.
This, I got it there. The guy who edited this movie also went on to be the editor of After Last Season, because the editing is very reminiscent of that movie.
I thought you were gonna say Quantum of Solace.
Also, I found something slightly hilarious in the meantime. I don't know which specific character is supposed to be. Probably the mother mouse, Hortense. Her voice actress actually voiced one of the main characters of a video game Daymare 1998 done in 2019. That's pretty awesome.
You want to know what's also funny? One of the 3 big actors I mentioned beforehand, let's see, it was Edmund Purdom. He was actually in the 1953 version of Titanic. So, he's returning to familiar territory, I guess?
Yes.
Oh, goody. Hey, Pedro, I know you don't like how James Cameron's movie of Murdoch was handled. What if I told you this one's even worse?
Oh, what? Do they have him kill somebody?
This guy's essentially more or less a minor villain in this movie.
Oh, brilliant. That's great.
Oh, God.
Well, see, here's the thing. Here's the thing, though. With a movie like this, at this point, I'll just shrug it.
Also, he survives in this one, even though Murdoch did actually die in the real Titanic thing.
Sure. But my point is that, see, here's the thing, Joe. With a movie like this, I expect this thing to be so disrespectful and shitty. With James Cameron, I expect better.
Oh, that said, this is still worse, though. Don't get me wrong.
Oh, it is worse. Oh, it is worse. I'm not saying it isn't. It's just that with a movie like this, I'm not surprised at all. I'm disgusted, but at the same time, I'm sad to say I'm not surprised. With James Cameron, I expected better from you, dude.
Also, say something.
Yeah, like, you are talking mice. Why don't you?
Like, I don't mind. Again, you heard me too many times saying how much I come to appreciate minimalism. Stuff like, say, the heist scene in Robin Hood towards this climax. That's gold, If when no one speaks and he has to carry the entire action. But this is just stupid. Also, I love how it seems that for all the voice actors for this English version that I find, there's no like in between. Either this was like their only thing they did in their career, or they still managed to have a career after it. Like a huge one, as in.
Oh God!
Everybody scream!
Okay, alright, question.
What?
Where's the iceberg?
It's like one of those slasher movies when you're just stuck seeing the teens being stupid for like 40 minutes straight. And you're like, can we get to the murder already?
Can we get to the actual real life tragedy already?
Again, I have no excuse. Again, I have no excuse, but I have no fucking idea how did this came to pass, both to this and the Mondo TV version. What was the fuck process of let's make an animated movie for kids based on the tragedy of Titanic? I guess really the only thing that's left to do is let's make a mockbuster to ride on the success of James Cameron's version. But even so, why an animated version for kids?
I don't
it's
know.
Again, it really sounds like that joke that Lindsay Ellis said. Let's make a Disney version of the fucking Diary of Anne Frank. Also, what's with this music?
She like just listening to a radio?
Casual bongos.
Like this, I don't understand.
Oh yeah, that's right. In the uncut version, it's explained that they're getting back Angelica's necklace for her.
I mean, to be fair, the thing did convey that they managed to pull it out still, but it's presented.
That's the thing! In the cut version, you're probably wondering, wait, they're friendly enough already that they know that she's missing her necklace and that, I guess they want it back? She wants it back? Whatever.
Like, when did they establish that they were told to look out for it? Maybe I missed it, but did they? Not in this version, Shiroi. In the uncut version, probably, but... Remember, this is the edited version. Okay, look. The making of the movie in general is a mystery, but I am still mystified as why this cut was made. Don't get me wrong, it makes the movie ungodly entertaining in a way, but I just wonder why. Like, okay, with the Miramax version of Thief and the Cobbler, I get it. Movie was taking forever to get out, so they had to rush a copy of it too. But this version was made after the uncut version was finished.
Even more.
I was like, what's with these shots? My God.
It's okay. It's just a disguise, which makes it better or worse.
Maybe that's just it, Jova. Maybe this is Camilo's vision. This is exactly as intended.
Of course.
So
There's a very specific vision for the Titanic, that Jova.
So what you're saying is that his version is the one that actually cuts down on stuff. That's
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. I've got a new name for this movie.
what?
Titanic. The legend goes on. And
And
on. And on. And on. Seriously, what legend is it? The legend of a bunch of twats scurrying about on a ship until they die.
I can't believe we're only
Jova-
halfway through this.
Yeah, I know, right? And yeah, the pay, because of also the weird editing and the way the movie's presented, the pace still feels off, and
Yeah,
you're feeling every second.
I think this is really disrespectful, turning the last hours of many people's lives into a farcical comedy.
Yeah.
And yet, the Legend of Titanic is even worse.
Also, Jova, you're better with the names of the. Oh God! Oh, stop it! Also, Jova, you're better remembering the names of the characters of these. Do you remember who the character of Kirk is supposed to be?
The character of Kirk in this movie?
Yeah.
Kirk. Was that Kirk with Oh, right!
Okay.
All right, he's actually, yeah. He's Kirk and Dirk. He's, they're basically the horse and
One of the
Jasper.
ghouls, apparently, Pedro is played by a guy called Clive Rish, who is also doing stuff to this very day, and also appeared apparently in 1988. But his first movie was in Terminator 2, as I'm guessing, one of the kids at the arcade or something.
He went from
Ranger.
Terminator 2 to this. Wow!
Still, okay, this wasn't super early in his career, but still relatively early. But again, he did manage to get a career afterwards.
Also, he went from a James Cameron movie to a James Cameron knockoff.
Brilliant. It's poetic.
And now we get flashback scenes! Why are we getting flashback scenes? Why are you...
like
Go on, Shiroy.
Like, they're showing this as though we're, like, almost at the end, and this happened towards the beginning. No, this happened, like, a few minutes ago. What is this, an anime?
I guess! Well, that's the funny thing, Shiroy. The Legend of Titanic sure is animated and feels like an anime, even though it's partially made by Korea.
Yeah, actually, I forgot.
Her eyes just, what are you looking at? She looks like she's glazed over.
That is true. Like I did mention at the beginning, but no. Unlike the stuff that Mono TV did, that was animated by Studio Sec in North Korea, this was, if I recall correctly, completely animated in my country. And like I said, it was just a patchwork of different people that got collaged together.
So would you?
I feel like...
Yes, Shiroy?
I feel like, given how a lot of these close-ups are, I feel like David Cage watched this movie and was heavily inspired.
That would
Also,
explain a
gosh,
lot.
woman, you look pale.
Can you even imagine a David Cage movie centered around people on the Titanic?
You know what? I could totally see
No.
him doing that and thinking it's God's gift to the world or something.
Yeah, in the about the 1997 movie, do you know what they released a couple of years ago?
Yes.
A Titanic movie board game.
Oh, well, okay, that could potentially work.
Like I said, when it comes to board games and video games, that's usually the more accepted, media adaptation target because it's brought in a very generic term.
But why a board game based on Titanic? It doesn't make sense.
What you're saying, Shiroy, is robotic frames of animation flying at the screen on you.
That's because while the original animation is still bad and everything, one of the things that this edit does is to get some scenes that are quote-unquote normally animated and deliberately slow them down to add runtime to the version that they wanted to construct. The original version still has some scenes that are slowed down on their own, but this version loves to add stuff like that.
Also, just for note, there was not really a singing composition on the Titanic. It was just the orchestra, but... Actually, no buts. This is historically inaccurate.
Oh, yeah, well, like Joe, a film with a rapping dog and a talking animals and Mexican mice is not historically accurate.
There are a lot of cleavage shots in this movie for kids.
Also, everybody's skin color keeps changing.
Yeah, you notice that too. Again, the animation being so inconsistent, not just with the appearance of the characters, but also how they colored. A character will not look the same in each shot. This is like a Ren and Stimpy production where it's mandated that each character cannot have the same facial expression each frame.
Hey guys, we're apparently playing the Sierra Mountain Titanic game, apparently.
Yeah, the Titanic PS1 game is really neat.
I wasn't aware, Theo, that you guys over there in Italy figured out the true secret to instantaneous skin surgery.
Oh my god.
I will make a joke, but it's not very appropriate.
His face looks so plastic.
And everyone's just watching this, I guess, you creepy voyeurs!
It's okay, Java, because it's essentially the Disney romance equivalent, so where everyone else is entitled to be essentially the encouraging part.
Also, why do the Dalmatians care about this? In this cut, they barely interact with Angelica.
A couple or whatever. Like, seriously, look at how pale she is.
Get a tan, lady.
I'm like, this is coming from me, lady.
Ugh. Oh!
Also, they used that shot twice.
Yeah.
Like, I know reused animation is necessary because it saves, like, time, but, like, this is incredibly egregious, I think.
That is hella cursed.
Well, the original does have it still in some kind of capacity. Like I said, this edited version is also very egregious on that.
Yeah.
The edited version makes it worse.
Again, I did compare this to... Well, okay, Fifth and the Cobbler is a better comparison, like Jova mentioned, but I did compare this to, you know, ghost stories in the way they thought they probably would not actually fit, so they had to retool it from the ground up, potentially. But this goes way beyond that. And yet, they reuse some animation from the party time bit.
I see Italy has quite a high opinion of Mexico.
It's more of a case, Jova, that, oh, Speedy Gonzalez is famous in America, let's trace on that.
Which, okay, you know what? Speedy Gonzalez is that thing done right, because Mexicans actually ended up loving Speedy Gonzalez. This!
Yeah, Jova, there seems to be the case where Mexicans love whatever stereotype is given to them because they just don't care. Also, this song is also exclusive for the edited version. The original has a different one.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I'll leave whether a country's offended or not to that country rather than random people on Twitter.
I can tell that people over here, whenever someone like in Family Guy, where they say, "Are you kidding? Well, they're Portuguese. Why? Because they're cocaine." I can tell that people over here just laugh because we find it funny. To be honest,
like from what I've heard, like from what I've heard, they legitimately love Speedy Gonzalez. So
yeah,
you know,
it's funny because to me, getting angry about that kind of stuff is just stupid. To be honest with you.
Still, though, this song is still going with those so-called recycled animation.
But don't you guys just feel the family togetherness? Fun for the family! Woohoo!
These will basically be useful for, you know, a little kid just to as a time waster kind of thing. Never mind the fact that there are better things to let that poor kid watch, but you know, hypothetically. But
oh,
okay.
Oh look, there's an iceberg.
We're getting close, guys.
Yep, we can already see some ice in the water there.
The Iceman cometh.
Winter is coming.
But yeah, I scoured through the rest of the cast, and like, aside from the ones that I mentioned, the other ones are people who either this was their last roles in their small career, and unfortunately they were too old and died afterward, or this was like the only thing they did. I'm genuinely surprised that this being a Canadian production for this dub, they had basically no one from the usual Canadian team that they usually had, like Scott McNeil, for example.
Okay, honey, good for you.
Maybe they read the script and were like, no.
Scott McNeil says yes to everything to him, so it's basically the Steve Blanco character.
I'm actually surprised Scott McNeil isn't in this movie.
That's what I mentioned.
It's interesting you mentioned Steve Blum, Tio, because he was doing a he was voicing a head tie, but when he got to a really, really gross bit, he just walked out and refused to do the rest of it.
Wait, this coming from the guy who was intentionally taking as many roles as he can to fit the Guinness Book of World Records for voice acting.
I think we're about to get...
Honestly, I find that very unprofessional of him, to be honest with you.
I get the idea that he could allow, considering how much of a range of contracts he gets to have, he basically decides to dictate.
And now the scene comes.
Probably would have been.
Yeah, but they just teleports out of nowhere, and we just notice at the last second.
Before, not even in the distance.
Which is not what happened, by the way.
Well, no wonder the Titanic sank. That iceberg literally teleported.
Sure, much like with every major nautical accident, it was exactly what it is, an accident caused by, among other things, human fault. But not to this extent of stupidity.
Wow! You literally are reusing the same shot! Side by side by side!
Again, look, just to be clear, reused animation is not a bad thing in and of itself. There's a reason for it to happen, but like this? No, you don't do that.
Oh my god.
It's not even a stylistic case like in, say, an anime where you get the same shot 3 times, but like from a different angle or in a slow-mo kind of way to symbolize like a strike being blown. No, this is just the shit that it's shot we proposed.
Also, the shot of the
Yuri?
boxes right now is literally good.
Yeah, that's the thing. They're literally shoveling water to throw it back into the ship. Oh my god, we just saw this scene a few seconds ago!
Also, what happened to the music? It was, aside from the songs, it was fine for the most part, but now they decided to bust out the seams.
Also, the water filled up very quickly. Like we didn't see it rise.
Maybe they ran out of music budget. I don't know.
And again with this repeated animation.
And again, it was mirrored.
Sure. Do you understand how expensive it is to animate water? Come on, we're not. Who do you think we are? Studio Ghibli?
There's no time to waste. Yeah, just no.
As people are about to die.
again, it's so bizarre as noticed the fact that these, again, in the core moment of tragedy, we still get some comedic moments because apparently this movie doesn't understand the definition of tone. And yes, this was a problem also in the uncut version. Sure, the editing, schizophrenic editing, rearrangement, and everything is a problem in this one, you know, bigger and everything. But even the base version has this original scene staining it all over the place.
Okay, believe it or not, this scene is actually handled better in this version, because in the uncut version, the first officer just keeps repeating his lines like a robot for some reason. I don't get why, but this movie is clearly not exactly right in the head.
Why are you singing?
Because, okay, this is Assume's take on the orchestra that played to try and keep people calm as the ship went down, but there was not a singer in the group!
Okay, well, here's my question, though, and this is actually referring to the real-life thing. Why have music in the first place? You're trying to evacuate people.
The idea of the orchestra was to try and keep the crowd calm before the ship really, really started to get out of control, essentially.
That wouldn't help. I don't think that would help at all.
I get the idea it was more of a case of desperation, let's try everything that can minimally work.
And to give them credit...
Did they keep the whole women and children aboard only thing?
Yes, they did.
Even though we still have comedic moments for stupidity.
Hey, this is where we started.
It feels like a moment ago. Aren't you happy, guys? All the moments when we passed this fucking thing, and I need alcohol so badly, and I can't. That's the real joke of April Fools to me.
No alcohol. Have you taken an oath of no alcohol on April Fools?
God, you're pathetic. Oh, we needed this. Again, lots of people are dying from hypothermia, you know, and drowning, but we can have this. I love also how the orchestra shots are recycled every time we get to it, and every time they awkwardly zoom in.
Not to mention, if we're taking just the context of the film itself, you know, remove all potential real life what the fuckery.
Yeah, let's pretend it's still a fictional story.
This is complete tone whiplash. You just spent the first 2/3 of the movie with this wacky, zany thing about, you know, with comic relief animals and everything, and now you got stuff like this.
Why is he breaking the window?
I hate glass.
Glass kill his dad.
Well,
like, was the door locked or something? Or
well, don't get me wrong.
Flooded in the hallways.
Well, don't get me wrong. I know that, you know, glass didn't have the most satisfying payoff, but come on, I thought it was, you know, fine. Oh wait, no.
Wait, glass was fine?
Actually, you know what? Never mind. I was getting that mixed up with Split. No, glass was terrible.
Oh no, Split was great. I mean,
again. For the sake of the joke, I got it mixed up. But no, glass is okay. So that's why Will hates Glass.
I mean, it wasn't the worst film I saw in that year, but.
Well, thank you for small favors, Libs.
I mean, look, Glass was still an unbelievable disappointment. By the way, as
sure,
how even?
And I love how Will's face changes just for the fall alone.
Oh, wow! Even the water was in slow motion. Okay, wait, no, the ship was way far behind him, yet suddenly now it's close enough for him to have gotten his foot caught in the railings? Tio, what the heck? Okay,
Great continuity.
Tio, I gotta know. Do physics just work differently in Italy and I've been thinking of it wrong?
Yes.
Jova, why do you think Luca was
No.
the way
No, you see, you see, Jova, the programming behind these physics was actually the physics programmer of Sonic 4 Episode 1. That's what's happening here.
You see, Jova, all this time when I mentioned that all of you guys might be figments of my imagination, it's the other way around. Italy doesn't exist. I'm just an hologram created to entertain you people.
Then who the heck was the one that was playing Xenogears? Me all along? What a twist!
You see, you see.
It was Chaka Conroy in this guy.
No, you see, Joe. No. See, Joe, the plot twist is that it's like in Pandora's box. Italy is actually just a giant hallucination caused. So.
Hey, but hey, look, guys. At least Angelica gets to be reunited with her grandmother, mother. I don't care.
Can someone call live-action Robotnik, please?
Nobody cares! Nobody cares.
Nobody cares.
Oh, sure, all these people died, but at the very least she found her mother. Fuck off.
And also, her mother's trying to get her set up with William while people are dying, too!
You know, Jova?
Including William.
You know, Jova? How has no one used that Robotnik line yet in the reaction shot / review / whatever? How has no one yet ever used it? It's just perfect for it.
I'm pretty sure somebody has at some point, but I just can't remember.
I like you. There was a body over there, and it's like we're immediately like a foot away from it now.
Oh, it's not him. All right, we'll just leave him then. Never mind. Okay.
No, they're gonna help him.
Oh, look, it's Sam, the detective.
Yeah, because this guy was with
I just want to remind you, this guy is one of the few ones who's voiced by a famous actor in this movie.
And once again, his entire presence was completely pointless.
He's immediately okay.
He does have a bit more of an arc in the uncut version, but...
Supposedly he's there to protect these other jewel from being stolen, so...
Oh, thank goodness the chef survived.
Why did we have a shot with one of the mice completely drenched in darkness? It was like a split second. It's like in fucking Fight Lab, just sneaking like a peanut shot to confuse the audience.
Nice joke, Teo. Seriously. Tell your kids.
Oh god, the whales!
No. These are dolphins. And,
and
thankfully they don't talk with magical moonbeams.
Well, whatever they are, tell them to enunciate.
There you go. Fritz and the others survived too, Jova.
Yep. Alright, there you go, Dwibs. The rapping dog does survive in this version too.
Whoa.
Also, very stock dolphin sound effect.
They used that same shot again.
Yep.
And that same shot again. Oh my god.
What is happening? Wait, slow the fuck down.
The editors are just giving up, Shiroi. The editors are just giving up.
When you're making the US Digimon movie look like it was paced and edited well, you got problems.
Yeah, and also, Pedro, at least the US Digimon movie was funny.
Was it?
That's heavily debatable.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I said it was.
I disagree.
If you like seeing Digimon poop, I guess, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's better than this. You gotta give it that.
Oh no, it is better than this, absolutely. If only for the bunny with the Gatling gun fists.
Yes.
Yeah, that's my favorite Digimon.
Peak character design.
Yeah. How can you get any better than a bunny?
Oh wait, here we go. Ah!
Oh god!
I get you wanted to depict, him being foggy, but still.
And I want to remind you,
Jesus, frame by frame.
and like I said, to remind you, in the Italian dub, this guy is voiced by the same voice actor that voiced DiCaprio in the James Cameron version. Again, we knew what the fuck we were doing.
And we go off to somewhere in the night for some reason.
Yeah, not even kidding. The movie just essentially cuts. Okay, there is a Where Are We Now epilogue, true.
In a Titanic movie. Oh god, it's Ratatouille before Ratatouille.
Can we watch that after this as a palate cleanser?
What, Ratatouille?
Excuse me, I love Ratatouille.
Ratatouille is a great movie. What the fuck?
Sorry, I thought you said Ratatouille.
What is that?
Ratatouille is the mockbuster version, Joe.
It has Mike
Oh,
Pollock
okay.
and basically it has the Sonic for Kids cast in it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'd rather. If I wanted
Basically,
something-
the running gag is that Mike Pollock keeps repeating the phrase precisely a lot of times.
if I wanted something with the Sonic voice cast in it, I'd watch Sonic X or Sonic Riders or.
I'm guessing it's from Video Brain Kid, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
That's Mike Pollock. Okay then.
Also, yes, again, we're having this happy peppy, Where Are We Now epilogue, but again, still lots of people died.
This has Weathering with You a energy.
It's not even that, because it's not even a case of Shiri where the choice is actually...
Oh, wait, hold on, the last line.
Casualties.
No, he didn't.
Wow!
See you soon. That sounds like a threat in this
Whoever wrote that
context.
line is a tosser.
Alright, technically stay tuned in the credits because for this edited version they incorporate a lot of the scenes that they did not use just as kind, like bloopers in that.
I was going to say, why are there several minutes?
12 minutes of credits, Shiroi. And yes, we do have to stick around for them because they include deleted footage in them.
Again, Shiro, I have no idea what this Canadian company decided to do. Let me check again. Just I will precisely. Equinox, I think it is. Equinox Entertainment. I think it actually went bankrupt eventually because the DVDs have been going out of print. And as far as I know, nobody, like I said, the bots seem to not care much about this version when it comes to YouTube. So outside of the actual, Italian company behind Camilla Tetti and everything, I'm pretty sure nobody outside actually cares about this thing.
That actually is a common rumor too. The reason we were able to watch Anne of Green Gables is because Nippon Animation only cares about Japan. As long as it's not in Japan, they allow it on YouTube.
But yes, again, like I said,
Let's see those deleted scenes, shall we?
Oh boy.
Ah!
Oh god, we're doing the 80s style. Hey, let's watch the cast. Lisa Russo as Angelica.
I mentioned
Mark
all I had to
Ashworth as
do.
William.
Me and Job already mentioned all we had to do about the voice actors.
Everywhere you go,
Everywhere.
That's
Gisela
great.
Matthews as Gertrude. She didn't have much of a career to this movie.
Silver Belters Bernice.
Good for her!
It was also a case, Pedro, like I said, that a lot of the voice actors, particularly one for the old folks, were actually old on their own, so they kind of died.
Huh, Bianca Ara. Ara.
Like Gisela Matthews died in 2001, actually, 1 year after this.
Also, Jova, never do that again.
Please. leave that to VTubers.
Good for you, Clive Rich. Of course, we had Doug Minkin as Dirk.
I was going to say Doug Walker.
Grumble,
No.
grumble, grumble, grumble.
And of course, Mickey Knox as Sam. One of the famous actors in this plays this bit character.
Paycheck's a paycheck.
Completely wasted.
David Brandon as Stockard. That's a face. Ken Belton as the captain. Also, what is this stock music?
I think it was actually used in the original version, if I recall correctly. This is not really new material.
Carolyn Young as Maxie. That freeze frame.
Jill Tyler as Victoria.
Check out the cast. Greg Snegoff as Fritz and Jeffrey. And again, Greg Snegoff has higher billing on the Wikipedia article. And Edmund Purdom as Jeremy McFlannel.
And that's it.
Not quite. We're still gonna get some of the deleted scenes and whatnot.
No,
well,
actually, no. The ones that they use for the rest of the credits are stuff that we have seen before, like again the Rapturing Dog, for example. But at the very least, we can actually start the final thoughts at the very least. But still, don't go off the video just yet. That's all I'm asking. Don't go ahead.
I mean, okay. Here are the positives for this movie. It's short.
Is it?
Yeah. Well, this version is anyway.
Theory of relativity of time, the way the schizophrenic editing the pace are, it makes it such a slog, if you ask me, Williams.
There are a few moments of unintentional hilarity, but say that just feels wrong. And that's it. Everything else is just garbage. I mean, the songs are boring. The animation's terrible. The tone is all over the shop. I mean, you'd think with a Titanic movie, the tone would be the easiest part to sort out. But no, it's like for the first 2/3, you have to be wacky animal comedy, and then the final third of it is the tragic Titanic stuff. It's such a complete Frankenstein's monster of a film's tone. not to mention the really dull or annoying characters. Oh, and of course there's CGI.
Yes, the CGI.
Surprisingly enough, it's short enough and only usually relegated with Titanic, although it's still very noticeable.
Unless you're watching the uncut version, which is longer.
Yeah.
Oh, and of course, we got the rapping dog and the mariachi band mice.
Tell me you weren't... Well, obviously that's what was missing from the other Titanic movies. A Mexican mariachi band.
I'm surprised we didn't have an 80s rap rabbit or something. I don't even... But yeah, it's... I mean, what else can I say? And the scary thing is, it's not the worst animated Titanic movie. Yeah, the one with the rapping dog, the talking animals.
No, this is the one that's closest to being historically accurate of the animated Titanic movies. Consider that.
Again, ignoring the rapping dog and all that stuff.
The bar is below the floor.
Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, that's the thing, though. I've seen all these, and yet I still haven't seen James Cameron's version. So, in a way, I'm kind of hyped, in a way. I should stress.
What, quote-unquote, inspired these?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, again, in a way, I'm kind of interested to see how that turns out. But in the meantime, this version is not good. It's not good at all. It's very insulting, actually. And again, to stress that this isn't the most insulting is
let me put it like this: like, until nostalgia critics started reviewing these movies, they were not as well known. Mind you, I had actually stumbled upon these movies before he reviewed them, so I was probably one of the few who was aware of these. But, much younger kid, didn't really register with me, and all that. That being said, the more people became aware, the more we were horrified with each movie that was pretty much revealed to have been a thing. And mind you, again, The Legend of Titanic actually was in theaters, so like, imagine something that's in theaters that people have been trying to forget.
Yeah. So yeah, that's me done. I mean, it's not the worst thing Italy's put out, but man,
Oh, well.
it's still not.
I'm actually
Well, you know what to do, guys.
I'm genuinely curious, Dweebs. What would you take, these or Pinocchio 2002?
Okay, that's like deciding between whether I
What
want
poison do you want to drink?
do I want to take Digitalis or do I want to take
Hemlock.
the stuff you get in Blowfish?
Well, whatever.
Okay, to be better for a second,
Well-
I guess this is shorter, technically.
Yeah, I mean, okay. Yeah, for all this film's problems, at least it wasn't headlined by a horrible actor.
True, the actors, from what I can tell, are good.
You didn't tell me that Vince Guaraldi composed for this. What the fuck is this?
You know that, man?
Vince Guaraldi, the composer of the Peanut specials.
Huh.
I actually
Yeah.
never. It wasn't credited here. I didn't.
Well, okay, to be fair...
No, I don't mean so in the credits. I mean, that piano just sounded so much like Vince Guaraldi.
Okay. Yeah, to an extent.
I can see what you mean. Like, well, I guess if there's one thing that's good about the music, it is the piano work.
Anyway, who wants to go next? Shirei?
Sure, why not? I'll also start with positives. It's over.
That's
And,
the most wonderful news.
And...
And no, that's it. It's over.
okay, then.
Like, unlike
basi-
Dwibs, I don't even... Oh, yeah?
So basically what you're saying is that what was your favorite part? The ending. Why? Because that's when it ended.
Yes, exactly. And unlike Dwibs, I don't even have the impression of, oh, maybe I should watch the James Cameron version because, that might actually be a lot better because I've already seen that version and I didn't much care for it. So yeah, I can't even claim that. So no, the positive is only that it ended.
So Shirley, if I understood correctly, you're like me and you prefer True Lies. Remember that Schwarzenegger's James Cameron movie that you would watch with me and Jova?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway,
Yes.
back to your
There you
thoughts,
go.
Shiroi.
Yeah, it's distasteful, not even just in what it's trying to adapt sense. There's so many just insensitive stereotypes, and I know we brought up Speedy Gonzalez, but that was made with some kind of care and charm when none exists here.
Yeah.
So I can't really compare the two, honestly.
Oh, no. Speedy
Like
Gonzalez.
one is beloved for a reason. Then
Yeah.
there's this, It's just the music. I mean, yes, pianos are pretty, but I'm not going to remember any of this after we're done. The animation is oof. Yep, oof. But the close-ups, the constant color changes, and but I've already said enough about how this movie does reused animation. I don't really care about any of the characters. The editing was all over the place. It's like I'm not gonna watch the uncut version, but yeah, this was pretty difficult to just process.
Sit through?
Like,
Sit through?
yeah, because like Dwibs also gave the positive that it's short, and it's like it didn't feel like it. Like this is an hour and 10 minutes. It did not feel like that at all. This was one of the longest hours of my life, honestly. What else? What
about the songs?
I'm gonna put that under the point of it's like I'm not gonna remember any of these, and
Fair enough.
Not even Party Time, Shiroi, the absolute Oscar winner.
well, yes, it is now party time because we can celebrate that this is over.
Yeah.
The video has ended officially.
Hooray! Party time! Party time! Everybody's feeling fine because it's party time.
It's Friday.
Gotta get down on Friday.
That's the energy that song has.
Oh!
Tell me I'm wrong. I mean, seriously.
No, you're not wrong.
I think I've covered everything, pretty much.
I'll go next, I guess.
Oh, sorry, Joe, go ahead.
Folks, what can I say? Like, again, aside from the fact that this is considered... Yes. Aside from the fact that this is actually the best of the animated Titanic movies on virtue of being the least insulting historically accurate-wise, what do we have here? It's a pastiche of rip-offs galore disguised as a Titanic movie. Now, if you're watching the uncut version, it's boring, dull, still bad comedy, but dull. This version, on the other hand, were they on cocaine when they edited this? Like, seriously, Tio, is there some hidden stash in Italy that we're just not aware of when they make these movies?
If there is Java, I sad to report it's not for the animators, but usually for the voice actor. It's a real problem.
Oh my god. That being said, though, holy cow, this movie, the animation... again, this movie is lucky that it's more historically accurate, because for all its problems, I would have actually taken looking at the Legend of Titanic movie, if only because that one's actually at least somewhat good to look at. This... oh god, there is so much potential nightmare fuel from the stuff. You don't even have to pause to see how bad the animation can look. Like, oh, it is terrible to look at. The songs are memorable only because of how, well, in Party Time's case, how terrible that song is, in Holds Me's case, for how corny that song is, and for Mucho Gusto, how racist that song comes off as. So, free for free and memorability, but for all the wrong reasons. Congrats, movie, congrats.
Also, when I let my YouTube copy of the film finish to the end, and immediately after it finished, it played the upper Titanic animated film.
Yeah, YouTube knows what you want, Dibs.
Yeah, I want to go to bed already.
Oh, God, this movie is... Okay, so let's consider this in the context of when this movie came out. Was their idea to make a mockbuster of The Legend of Titanic for this movie? Essentially an Italian knockoff of the Italian knockoff? Because, mind you, this came out literally just a year after that one did, as well.
This is like what I... If
No.
It was like a 2-year...
No. This movie came out in 2000. Legend of Titanic came out in 1999.
This is what I mean. What I was saying is that this movie was still at least like a 2-year development cycle. So it was at least conceptualized in 1998.
I guess. But still, that's the thing. This one feels like a knockoff a bit of The Legend of Titanic. Like, what is even going on? And yet, this one at least had the sense not to make a sequel, I guess? Oh god, this movie. Like I mentioned, the animation is terrible. See, and in this cut, this particular cut, mind you, alternative cuts are supposed to help a movie. This did the exact opposite of helping the movie. Oh, mind you, it helps the movie be more entertaining for all the wrong reasons, but still, what were they thinking? Cuts that literally interrupt scenes, crossfades that don't make any sense, animation repeats that are made all the more obvious, and making the story be told in medias res when the original wasn't even told in medias res. Why? Why? Oh boy. It's Legend of Titanic. Or, sorry, The Legend Goes On, even though this was the only animated Titanic film that didn't have a sequel. So what the hell? Nothing about this movie makes sense. The end.
Pedro.
Okay, so this movie is a complete train wreck that makes no sense, and And yeah, again, this is exactly the kind of thing that was made with no thought and basically just thinking, well, it's a cool, fun animated movie with animals. There you go. That's fun. And it's abundantly clear to me that Camilo Tetti has no idea how writing works and how directing works. How
I can tell you this, Pedro, because I know the guys. No, I know don't know the guy personally, obviously, but I know some of his other works. He did only one movie after this, another animated one, but nobody knows about it. I don't even think he got an English dub in 2005. But before this, he did mostly a couple of very, very, not even harmless, very insignificant small live action movies in the 80s, particularly one that's like a quasi documentary about my country's version of a Zodiac killer, which was defined by the critics back then as boring. So I guess it didn't really change in time.
Why am I not surprised? Okay, so yeah, I'm not entirely confident that Camilo understands anything, but yeah, not good. I mean, what else can I say? It's just it's a legendary train wreck. It's been made made fun of it. If you, yeah, like Jova said, there's the only way that seems that I was able to find the uncut version is in parts on YouTube. That being said, I do recommend Diva's musical hell review of this movie because you know Diva's reviews are always awesome anyway, so just might as well watch it. And she reviews the uncut movie, so. Well, okay, never mind. Well, technically, okay, she has a review of the movie, but she also has the full-blown riff tracks of the whole thing, basically. So she has two. So you can just enjoy it on... So there you go, two for the price of one. Okay, that's my contribution, I guess, because to be perfectly honest, I have no idea what else to say that hasn't been said a million times already over the course of the last 10 years about this movie.
That just leaves me then.
Yep, go on, Tio.
This is, again, like you said, the movie itself is just a train wreck no matter what you look at, and the mere idea of making one is so puzzling, you know, outside of capitalizing on a movie that already capitalized on a tragedy in, yeah, admittedly a tasteless way. There is what Pedro mentioned, but I can tell you that at least on a personal level, the James Cameron's Titanic movie bores me to death, to no end. It might have its merits, it might have its flaws, but to me it's just a big ball of nothing. And so I guess on that version, these animated adaptations are more entertaining because with the leadership that's applied, except for the fact that now you remember that, all right, tons of people fucking died in very, very tragic ways to boot.
But we gotta focus more on the comedy with the bumbling goons and Cruella de Vil.
Yeah, seriously, just... Again, this is... It's not even a waste of animation, because the animation is garbage, no matter what version you look at it, because of inconsistency with dimension. The music is probably the most salvageable aspect, and even then, it's not even that consistent for the entire movie. It's just unexcusable. Still, I really don't understand why Canada decided to do whatever the fuck to this movie. A practice that seems to be common through the entirety of the North American continent when it comes to, you know, localized on foreign movies. So apparently it's a thing that keeps happening from time to time, and I don't understand why. But let me have a very small rant about this, because... Again, this is a stain for Italian animation offered to the West, but I can assure you that we do have very good animated Italian movies, and I would be very, very open to show it to you if they fucking gave them English version, even subbed. Because just 1 year after this, there was this amazing movie called Momo, which is an adaptation from a Michael Ende book, which is an Italian-German production, but mostly Italian, by famous the actor Enzo Dadò. And it's a fantastic movie about this little girl who literally saves time by essentially an evil corporation, you know, and saves both time and her friends from that. And it's
so the girl who leapt through time.
In a way, kinda, but think of it more like a Studio Ghibli kind of movie vibe.
Well, Ozoda was a Ghibli director for a while, so yeah.
Mm-hmm. But still, again, that's an amazing movie, and probably most of the world will not even know because they didn't give that one an English dub. And I don't understand why. Why garbage like this gets an English dub and it basically gives a bad reputation to my country. Where
You're not kidding about it. You're not kidding about a bad reputation. This movie gets on a lot of worst animated films. Heck, sometimes even worst films of all time sorts of lists.
And it deserves it, Jova. And
Yeah.
it deserves it, Jova. But like he said, publicity has to come through always. And I want to reiterate that my country can produce good stuff. That it's even for the animated version, which I would also have to add, it's also, a sector that my country usually lacks. So it's already a rare thing to begin with. And don't get me wrong, we still have other bad animated movies that never arrive to the West. Trust me.
Like that Napoleon Bonaparte Titanic movie.
There's another one that I mentioned in the past, a Christmas movie that sadly never was localized, but it's just batshit insane on its own. But again, he also breaks the law, so it proves also that the guy is not consistent, unfortunately, as a director. But like I said, there is still also good stuff that, for one reason or another, it probably would never be shown just because we have cases like this of a tarnished reputation, and people say, well, let's not bother to import this kind of thing from Italy. It's not really worth it, But at the same time, we see, countries like Spain and France instead managing to also thrive instead with their own animated product, bigger or smaller than they are. And that's also the thing that pisses me off. The fact that, outside of this being a problem for the whole tragedy itself, it is also a problem for the product it comes from. And unfortunately, because of the fact that these were not made with my country in mind, at least to begin with, it's not a thing we're particularly self-aware outside of the crowd of my generation that knows stuff about the internet and has had enough insight of actually, expand our horizons, to the rest of the world thanks to the internet. So it's a problem no matter where you look at it. Pure and simple. And that's that. So happy fucking April Fools.
Believe it or not, it's only downhill from here when it comes to animated Titanic movies.
Yeah. The Mondo TV version will arrive at some point. We'll see if the uncut version of this will arrive also at some point. We'll see. For the time being, again, enjoy the rest of the month. See ya.
See ya.
Yeah.
See ya.